On an ordinary Tuesday morning, a coffee empire's founder would walk into one of his own cafes as just another customer, dress disguised and identity concealed, unaware that two young voices would reveal a story that would transform everything. He thought he knew about his business. The glass and steel headquarters of Sunrise Roasters loomed over downtown Seattle, a testament to Marcus Hartley's remarkable entrepreneurial journey. At 42, he represented the quintessential success story, a former barista who had transformed a small, passion-driven coffee shop into a corporate empire that employed over 5,000 people across the Pacific Northwest and beyond. Marcus's path to success was anything but traditional. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood in Tacoma, he had witnessed his parents' constant struggle to make ends meet. His mother, a part-time librarian, and his father, a mechanic, taught him the value of hard work and human dignity. Those early lessons became the cornerstone of his business philosophy, a belief that every job, no matter how seemingly small, carried inherent worth and potential. During his college years, coffee became more than just a beverage. It was a lifeline, a means of survival, and ultimately a catalyst for his entrepreneurial dreams. Working night shifts at a local cafe, Marcus discovered something profound. Coffee was never just about the drink itself, but about the moments of connection it created, brief, magical interactions between people from all walks of life. His first cafe opened with a modest $50,000 loan cobbled together from savings, family contributions, and a small business grant, was more than a business. It was a community hub. Located in Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood, the original, Sunrise Roasters became known for its warm atmosphere, exceptional coffee, and genuine care for both customers and employees. The company's growth was organic and intentional. Marcus refused venture capital that came with strings attached, preferring instead to expand slowly, methodically. Each new location was carefully selected, not just for foot traffic or potential revenue, but for its ability to become a meaningful community space. He personally interviewed key management candidates, looking not just for skills, but for a genuine commitment to human connection. By the time Sunrise Roasters reached 50 locations, industry publications were calling Marcus a maverick. He implemented progressive policies that were revolutionary for the food service industry: comprehensive health insurance for part-time workers, mental health support, educational stipends, and a minimum wage that significantly exceeded local requirements. Yet as the company grew, something began to shift. The intimacy of those early days started to fade. Corporate meetings became increasingly about spreadsheets and growth metrics. The personal touch that had defined Sunrise Roasters was slowly being replaced by standardized processes and efficiency-driven management. Whispers reached Marcus, subtle hints that all was not well beneath the polished corporate exterior. Employee turnover was increasing. Customer satisfaction scores, while still respectable, were showing signs of decline. His executive team presented beautifully crafted presentations demonstrating continued growth, but Marcus had learned long ago to trust his instincts over polished PowerPoint slides. The corporate boardroom, with its minimalist design and panoramic city views, felt increasingly disconnected from the warm, vibrant cafes that had been the company's foundation. Spreadsheets and projections had slowly replaced the human stories that once drove his passion. It was during a late-night review of internal reports that Marcus made a decision that would change everything. He would go undercover, strip away his CEO title, and experience his own business through the eyes of an ordinary customer. No special treatment, no recognition, just a raw, unfiltered view of Sunrise Roasters. His plan was simple yet potentially transformative. He would dress inconspicuously, visit random locations, and observe, not as a CEO conducting an official review, but as just another customer seeking a morning coffee. Marcus knew that the most Profound insights often came from the most unexpected moments. Little did he know that a seemingly ordinary morning at a modest cafe in Portland would reveal extraordinary truths about leadership, compassion, and the real meaning of success. The journey that was about to unfold would challenge everything. He thought he knew about his company, his employees, and himself. As dawn broke and the first rays of Oregon's soft morning light filtered through cafe windows, Marcus Hartley prepared to step into a world where he was no longer a CEO, but simply another customer seeking a morning coffee, unaware that the next few hours would redefine his understanding of business, humanity, and the delicate art of genuine connection. The Alberta Arts District presented an ideal research environment for Marcus Hartley's covert organizational assessment. Sunrise Roaster's Portland location stood as a meticulously designed operational laboratory, its architectural elements carefully curated to create a precise customer experience ecosystem. Entering the cafe required a strategic approach. Marcus moved with calculated casualness, his decades of executive training allowing him to blend seamlessly into the morning's ambient environment. Each step was an opportunity for observation, each interaction a potential data point in understanding the complex machinery of his own organization. The morning's operational landscape unfolded with intricate complexity. Baristas moved with a choreographed precision that suggested both extensive training and individual creativity. Their interactions transcended traditional service paradigms, revealing a sophisticated communication system that corporate training manuals could never fully capture. Two primary subjects quickly emerged within Marcus's observational framework. The first was Alex, a barista whose appearance defied conventional corporate aesthetic standards: blue hair, intricate tattoos, a presence that challenged traditional workplace conformity. The second was an unfolding human narrative involving two young patrons whose circumstances suggested a deeper societal complexity. The boys appeared out of place. Their body language communicated vulnerability, hushed conversations, protective posturing, a sense of displacement that spoke to challenges far beyond the cafe's immediate environment. One wore a slightly oversized hoodie that seemed more about concealment than comfort, while the other's backpack looked like a repository of everything important in his young life. "We can't go back," the older boy whispered, his voice carrying a weight of desperation that seemed incongruous with his youth. His companion's response was equally laden with unspoken complexity. Marcus's observational methodology went beyond surface-level analysis. Where another leader might see an inconvenient interaction, he recognized a potential case study in organizational responsiveness and social awareness. Alex's approach to the situation represented a masterclass in adaptive customer service. The interaction was not a mere transactional moment, but a nuanced display of emotional intelligence. A complimentary pastry became more than a simple food item. It transformed into a gesture of human dignity. The cafe's environmental design played a crucial role in this interaction. Strategically placed seating, soft lighting, and acoustic considerations created a space that invited vulnerability while maintaining a sense of professional boundaries. It was an architectural manifestation of organizational empathy. Corporate performance metrics typically failed to capture these intricate human moments. The boys' circumstances represented a complexity that spreadsheets and key performance indicators could never quantify. Here, in this moment, was a living demonstration of how organizational culture manifested at the most fundamental human level. Marcus recognized the profound implications of what he was witnessing. This was not just about coffee or customer service. This was about understanding the potential of a business to serve as a social infrastructure, a supportive ecosystem that extended beyond traditional economic boundaries. The interaction challenged fundamental assumptions about workplace performance. What metrics could measure the value of a moment of unexpected kindness? How could one quantify the impact of a simple act of human compassion? As the morning progressed, Marcus continued his meticulous observation. Each interaction, each subtle communication pattern became a piece of a larger organizational puzzle. The cafe transformed from a mere service location into a complex social laboratory, revealing layers of human interaction that defied traditional business understanding. What Marcus was discovering went beyond operational efficiency. He was witnessing the potential for businesses to serve as adaptive social support systems, bridging community gaps through strategic compassion. The true measure of leadership, he was realizing, existed in these almost imperceptible moments of genuine human connection. The Alberta Arts District presented an ideal research environment for Marcus Hartley's covert organizational assessment. Sunrise Roasters' Portland location stood as a meticulously designed operational laboratory, its architectural elements carefully curated to create a precise customer experience ecosystem. Entering the cafe required a strategic approach. Marcus moved with calculated casualness, his decades of executive training allowing him to blend seamlessly into the morning's ambient environment. Each step was an opportunity for observation, each interaction a potential data point in understanding the complex machinery of his own organization. The morning's operational landscape unfolded with intricate complexity. Baristas moved with a choreographed precision that suggested both extensive training and individual creativity. Their interactions transcended traditional service paradigms, revealing a sophisticated communication system that corporate training manuals could never fully capture. Two primary subjects quickly emerged within Marcus's observational framework. The first was Alex, a barista whose appearance defied conventional corporate aesthetic standards: blue hair, intricate tattoos, a presence that challenged traditional workplace conformity. The second was an unfolding human narrative involving two young patrons whose circumstances suggested a deeper societal complexity. The boys appeared out of place. Their body language communicated vulnerability, hushed conversations, protective posturing, a sense of displacement that spoke to challenges far beyond the cafe's immediate environment. One wore a slightly oversized hoodie that seemed more about concealment than comfort, while the other's backpack looked like a repository of everything important in his young life. "We can't go back," the older boy whispered, his voice carrying a weight of desperation that seemed incongruous with his youth. His companion's response was equally laden with unspoken complexity. Marcus's observational methodology went beyond surface-level analysis. Where another leader might see an inconvenient interaction, he recognized a potential case study in organizational responsiveness and social awareness. Alex's approach to the situation represented a masterclass in adaptive customer service. The interaction was not a mere transactional moment, but a nuanced display of emotional intelligence. A complimentary pastry became more than a simple food item. It transformed into a gesture of human dignity. The cafe's environmental design played a crucial role in this interaction. Strategically placed seating, soft lighting, and acoustic considerations created a space that invited vulnerability while maintaining a sense of professional boundaries. It was an architectural manifestation of organizational empathy. Corporate performance metrics typically failed to capture these intricate human moments. The boys' circumstances represented a complexity that spreadsheets and key performance indicators could never quantify. Here, in this moment, was a living demonstration of how organizational culture manifested at the most fundamental human level. Marcus recognized the profound implications of what he was witnessing. This was not just about coffee or customer service. This was about understanding the potential of a business to serve as a social infrastructure, a supportive ecosystem that extended beyond traditional economic boundaries. The interaction challenged fundamental assumptions about workplace performance. What metrics could measure the value of a moment of unexpected kindness? How could one quantify the impact of a simple act of human compassion? As the morning progressed, Marcus continued his meticulous observation. Each interaction, each subtle communication pattern became a piece of a larger organizational puzzle. The cafe transformed from a mere service location into a complex social laboratory, revealing layers of human interaction that defied traditional business understanding. What Marcus was discovering went beyond operational efficiency. He was witnessing the potential for businesses to serve as adaptive social support systems, bridging community gaps through strategic compassion. The true measure of leadership, he was realizing, existed in these almost imperceptible moments of genuine human connection. No executive summary could capture the profound complexity of what was unfolding before him. As the morning light continued to filter through the cafe's carefully designed windows, Marcus Hartley understood that this single observation would become a pivotal moment in Sunrise Roaster's organizational narrative, a catalyst that would challenge everything he believed about corporate purpose, social responsibility, and the fundamental nature of business itself. The initial field reconnaissance demanded a comprehensive strategic response. Marcus Hartley understood that isolated observations required systematic validation and purposeful organizational intervention. Within 48 hours of his Undercover cafe visit, Marcus initiated a multi-phase analytical protocol. The first step involved cross-referencing the Portland location's performance metrics with qualitative field observations. Traditional corporate assessment tools would have missed the nuanced human dynamics he had witnessed. HR and operational intelligence teams were discreetly activated. Their mandate: conduct a comprehensive review of frontline employee interactions, with specific emphasis on understanding the adaptive communication strategies demonstrated by employees. Like Alex, preliminary data suggested a significant divergence between corporate expectations and actual employee performance. The standard performance evaluation framework failed to capture the sophisticated interpersonal skills displayed during Marcus's field observation. The two young patrons represented more than an isolated incident. They became a critical case study in organizational social responsibility. Marcus directed his social impact team to develop a comprehensive understanding of youth vulnerability within their operational territories. Preliminary investigation revealed systemic challenges. Local shelters reported consistent overcapacity, youth support services were fragmented, and economic instability disproportionately impacted young populations in urban centers like Portland. Marcus recognized this as an opportunity for strategic corporate social intervention. Sunrise Roasters could potentially develop a targeted support framework that went beyond traditional corporate social responsibility models. A cross-functional task force was assembled, drawing expertise from human resources, community engagement, social work, and operational strategy. Their initial brief was to develop a comprehensive understanding of the underlying social dynamics surrounding their cafe locations. The team's preliminary report highlighted critical insights. Frontline employees demonstrated advanced emotional intelligence. Current corporate training models inadequately prepared staff for complex social interactions. Existing performance metrics failed to capture qualitative service excellence. Significant potential existed for developing innovative community support strategies. Alex emerged as a pivotal case study. Their approach to customer service transcended traditional operational frameworks, representing a potential model for redefining employee engagement and community interaction. Marcus authorized a confidential personnel review. Traditional promotion pathways would be reassessed, with specific attention to employees who demonstrated exceptional adaptive communication skills and emotional intelligence. The investigation expanded beyond the initial Portland observation. Similar field reconnaissance would be conducted across multiple Sunrise Roasters locations, establishing a comprehensive baseline for understanding organizational culture and community interaction. Legal and compliance teams were engaged to develop appropriate frameworks for potential community support initiatives. The goal was to create a model that balanced corporate responsibility with operational efficiency. Preliminary budget allocations were prepared for potential pilot programs. These would focus on enhanced employee training in adaptive communication, community support, infrastructure development, innovative youth engagement strategies, expanded social impact measurement protocols. Marcus understood this was more than a standard corporate intervention. This represented a potential paradigm shift in understanding the role of businesses within complex social ecosystems. The boys from the Portland Cafe became symbolic representatives of a broader organizational challenge. Their circumstances demanded a sophisticated, multifaceted response that went beyond traditional corporate social responsibility models. Technological infrastructure would be crucial. Data collection and analysis systems would be redesigned to capture nuanced, qualitative interactions that traditional metrics overlooked. By the end of the week, a comprehensive strategic framework had been developed. What began as an unplanned field observation was transforming into a potentially revolutionary approach to organizational design and social engagement. Marcus Hartley had discovered something profound. Businesses could be more than economic entities. They could serve as adaptive social support systems, bridging critical community gaps through strategic compassion and intelligent design. The journey had only just begun, but the potential for transformative change was immense. The strategic framework developed in the aftermath of Marcus Hartley's field observation required meticulous implementation. Organizational transformation was not a linear process, but a complex ecosystem of interconnected interventions. Initial pilot programs were carefully designed to minimize operational disruption while maximizing potential for meaningful change. The first phase focused on three critical areas: employee training, community engagement, and adaptive performance evaluation. A comprehensive training module was developed in collaboration with organizational psychologists, social work professionals, and frontline employee representatives. The curriculum went beyond traditional customer service training, focusing on developing advanced emotional intelligence, adaptive communication strategies, and community-responsive problem-solving skills. Alex, the blue-haired barista from the Portland location, became an unexpected key resource. Initially invited as a consultant, their insights proved invaluable in redesigning employee engagement protocols. The traditional top-down training approach was replaced with a more collaborative, experience-driven methodology. Pilot programs were launched in 3 strategically selected Sunrise Roasters locations: Portland, Seattle, and San Francisco. Each site represented a unique urban ecosystem with distinct social challenges, providing a comprehensive testing ground for the new approach. The first measurable outcomes were surprising. Employee engagement scores increased by 37% in the pilot locations. Customer satisfaction metrics showed a 22% improvement, with particular strength in qualitative feedback about employee interactions. More importantly, the program began to uncover hidden organizational potential. Employees reported feeling more empowered, more connected to their work beyond simple economic transaction. The cafe transformed from a mere service point to a community support node. Community partnerships became a critical component of the new strategy. Local youth support organizations, homeless assistance programs, and educational support networks were invited to collaborate. Sunrise Roasters began to position itself as more than a coffee company. It became a potential social infrastructure provider. Technology played a crucial role in this transformation. A new data collection system was developed to capture nuanced interaction metrics. Machine learning algorithms were trained to identify complex patterns of employee excellence that went beyond traditional performance indicators. The financial implications were carefully monitored. Initial investment in the program was significant, but early indicators suggested long-term value creation that extended beyond traditional revenue metrics. Customer loyalty, employee retention, and brand perception all showed positive trajectories. Challenges emerged. As expected in any significant organizational transformation, conservative elements within the corporate structure pushed back against what they perceived as unnecessary complexity. Marcus Hartley's leadership became crucial in maintaining strategic momentum. A series of internal workshops were conducted, bringing together employees from various levels of the organization. The goal was to create a shared understanding of the new organizational philosophy. These sessions became critical in breaking down traditional hierarchical barriers. The two young boys from the original Portland observation became a symbolic touchstone for the entire initiative. Their story was anonymized but shared internally, becoming a powerful narrative that illustrated the potential for meaningful corporate social responsibility. Partnerships with local educational institutions were established to create innovative learning opportunities. Sunrise Roasters began offering paid internship programs, mentorship opportunities, and educational support for young people facing socioeconomic challenges. The marketing team was challenged to reframe the company's brand narrative. This was no longer just about selling coffee, but about creating a new model of corporate social engagement. Initial consumer response was overwhelmingly positive. Rigorous measurement protocols were established to track the initiative's impact. This went beyond traditional business metrics, incorporating social impact indicators, community well-being, assessments, and long-term developmental outcomes. By the quarter's end, the pilot program had exceeded even Marcus Hartley's most optimistic projections. What had begun as an unplanned observation in a Portland cafe was transforming into a potentially revolutionary approach to corporate social responsibility. The organization stood at a critical inflection point. The traditional boundaries between business, social service, and community support were becoming increasingly blurred. Marcus Hartley understood that this was more than a corporate initiative. This was a potential blueprint for reimagining the role of businesses in addressing complex social challenges. The organizational transformation demanded a holistic approach that went beyond traditional corporate intervention strategies. Marcus Hartley understood that meaningful change required a fundamental reimagining of the company's core purpose and operational philosophy. Detailed scenario planning sessions were conducted, exploring potential long-term implications of the new strategic framework. These sessions brought together diverse perspectives, from frontline employees to senior executives, from community leaders to academic researchers. A comprehensive risk assessment identified potential challenges, resistance from traditional corporate stakeholders, financial implementation costs, potential brand perception challenges, operational integration complexities. To address these concerns, a dedicated transformation office was established. This cross-functional team would provide strategic oversight, manage implementation, and continuously assess the initiative's progress. The technology infrastructure underwent a complete redesign. New data collection protocols were developed to capture nuanced human interactions that traditional metrics overlooked. Machine learning algorithms were trained to identify complex patterns of employee excellence, moving beyond binary performance evaluations. Psychological profiling became a critical component of the new approach. The team developed advanced assessment, tools that could identify employees with exceptional adaptive communication skills and emotional intelligence. External partnerships played a crucial role in the transformation. Collaborations were established with urban planning departments, social service organizations, educational institutions, community development networks. Each partnership was carefully structured to create mutually beneficial relationships that went beyond traditional corporate social responsibility models. Financial modeling demonstrated unexpected potential. Initial investment costs were significant, but projected long-term value creation suggested a compelling return on investment. This went beyond traditional financial metrics, incorporating social impact valuation. The communication strategy was meticulously crafted. Internal messaging focused on empowerment, purpose, and collective organizational transformation. External communication aimed to reposition Sunrise Roasters as a progressive, socially responsible organization. Pilot program locations were selected. Through a comprehensive geographic and demographic analysis, each site represented a unique urban ecosystem, providing a robust testing ground for the new approach. Employee development programs were redesigned from the ground up. The new curriculum incorporated advanced emotional intelligence training, community engagement strategies, adaptive problem-solving techniques, holistic social awareness development. A mentorship program was established, connecting experienced employees with emerging talent. This approach aimed to create a continuous learning ecosystem within the organization. The legal and compliance teams developed new frameworks to support the expanded organizational mission. This included innovative approaches to employee protection, community engagement, social impact measurement, ethical decision-making protocols. Leadership development became a critical focus. A new leadership model was created that emphasized emotional intelligence, social responsibility, adaptive strategic thinking, community-centric decision-making. Continuous feedback mechanisms were implemented to ensure ongoing refinement of the approach. This included regular employee surveys, community impact assessments, adaptive strategy sessions, real-time performance monitoring. The initiative represented more than a corporate program. It was a fundamental reimagining of the relationship between business, community, and social infrastructure. Marcus Hartley recognized that this was a pivotal moment. The traditional boundaries between corporate entities and social support systems were being systematically dismantled and reconstructed. As the implementation progressed, it became clear that Sunrise Roasters was creating more than a new business model. They were developing a blueprint for a more integrated, socially responsive approach to organizational design. The organizational transformation entered a critical phase of strategic escalation. Marcus Hartley's initial field observations had evolved into a comprehensive systemic intervention that challenged fundamental corporate operational paradigms. Comprehensive data analysis from the pilot programs revealed multi-layered insights that exceeded initial expectations. The performance metrics demonstrated a statistically significant correlation between the new adaptive engagement strategies and organizational resilience. Key performance indicators showed remarkable shifts. Employee retention rates increased by 42%. Customer satisfaction scores improved by 36%. Community engagement metrics demonstrated unprecedented positive trajectories. Operational efficiency improved. Across multiple organizational domains, the technology infrastructure developed to support the initiative became a critical strategic asset. Advanced machine learning algorithms continuously processed complex interaction data, creating a dynamic organizational intelligence system that could adapt in real time to emerging challenges. Interdepartmental collaboration reached unprecedented levels. Traditional organizational silos were systematically dismantled, replaced by flexible, cross-functional teams capable of rapid response and innovative problem-solving. External validation emerged from unexpected sources. Academic researchers expressed significant interest in the organizational transformation model. Multiple universities initiated longitudinal studies to document the systemic changes implemented by Sunrise Roasters. The initial case of the two young patrons in the Portland Cafe transformed into a comprehensive youth support framework. Targeted programs were developed to address systemic challenges facing vulnerable youth populations in urban environments. Strategic partnerships expanded exponentially. What began as localized community engagement evolved into a sophisticated network of social support infrastructure. Local government agencies, educational institutions, and social service organizations became active collaborators in the initiative. Financial modeling demonstrated the strategic value of the approach. Traditional return on investment calculations proved insufficient to capture the comprehensive value creation. A new valuation model was developed that incorporated social impact metrics alongside traditional financial indicators. Leadership development protocols underwent radical transformation. The new leadership model emphasized adaptive strategic thinking, emotional intelligence, complex systems understanding, social responsibility integration. A dedicated research and development team was established to continue refining the organizational transformation approach. This team operated with unprecedented autonomy, tasked with continuous innovation and strategic exploration. The corporate training infrastructure was completely redesigned. Traditional compliance-focused training was replaced with comprehensive development programs that emphasized adaptive communication skills, emotional intelligence, community-centric problem-solving, systemic thinking approaches. Technological innovation became a critical component of the transformation. A proprietary organizational intelligence platform was developed, integrating advanced data analytics, machine learning algorithms, real-time performance monitoring, predictive organizational health indicators. External recognition began to materialize. Industry publications started featuring Sunrise Roasters as a case study in progressive organizational design. Invitations to speak at global leadership conferences became increasingly frequent. The initiative's impact extended beyond the organization's immediate boundaries. Other corporate entities began showing interest in the transformation model, signaling a potential paradigm shift in organizational management approaches. Marcus Hartley recognized that the journey had evolved far beyond the initial field observation in the Portland Cafe. What had begun as a moment of unexpected insight had transformed into a comprehensive reimagining of corporate purpose and social responsibility. Continuous feedback loops were established to ensure ongoing refinement of the approach. These mechanisms allowed for real-time adaptation and strategic responsiveness, creating an unprecedented level of organizational agility. The two young boys from the original observation became symbolic representatives of the broader transformational philosophy. Their unexpected moment of vulnerability had catalyzed a comprehensive reimagining of organizational potential. As the initiative continued to evolve, it became clear that Sunrise Roasters was no longer just a coffee company. It had become a dynamic social infrastructure, challenging traditional boundaries between corporate entities and community support systems. Marcus Hartley understood that this was more than a corporate initiative. It represented a potential blueprint for reimagining the role of businesses in addressing complex social challenges. The transformation had only just begun, but the potential for meaningful change seemed limitless. The organizational transformation entered its most challenging phase as external resistance began to crystallize. Traditional corporate power structures viewed Sunrise Roasters' innovative approach with increasing suspicion and strategic concern. A consortium of industry executives initiated a coordinated response to challenge the emerging organizational model. Their primary concerns centered on the potential disruption to established corporate governance frameworks and the economic implications of Sunrise Roasters' radical approach to social responsibility. Intelligence gathering revealed a multi-layered strategic counteroffensive. Key industry players were mobilizing resources to discredit the effectiveness of the new organizational model, challenge the financial viability of the expanded social engagement strategy, undermine the credibility of Marcus Hartley's leadership approach, create regulatory and institutional barriers to implementation. Marcus recognized this as a critical inflection point. The transformation was no longer just an internal organizational initiative, but a broader challenge to existing corporate paradigms. A comprehensive defensive strategy was developed, leveraging the robust data collection and analysis infrastructure created during the initial transformation phases. The approach would be proactive rather than reactive, anticipating and neutralizing potential strategic challenges. Key strategic elements of the defensive framework included comprehensive documentation, detailed performance metrics demonstrating tangible organizational benefits, longitudinal studies tracking the initiative's impact, quantitative and qualitative evidence of improved organizational performance, strategic communication protocol, proactive media engagement, transparent communication of organizational objectives, development of a compelling narrative that challenged traditional corporate thinking, institutional collaboration partnerships with academic institutions, engagement with progressive policy think tanks, development of a broader ecosystem of support for innovative organizational models. The technology infrastructure played a crucial role in this strategic defense. Advanced predictive analytics allowed for real-time monitoring of potential challenge vectors, enabling rapid strategic response. Psychological profiling of potential antagonists revealed complex motivational structures. The resistance was not monolithic, but represented a nuanced ecosystem of competing interests and institutional inertia. A dedicated strategic response team was assembled, drawing expertise from organizational psychology, advanced data analytics, legal strategy, corporate communication, social impact assessment. The team's mandate was to develop a comprehensive, multi-dimensional response to potential challenges, anticipating and neutralizing strategic threats before they could fully materialize. Financial modeling demonstrated the long-term strategic value of the approach. Traditional economic valuations proved insufficient to capture the comprehensive value creation. A new economic framework was developed that incorporated social impact, metrics, organizational resilience indicators, community value creation, adaptive capacity assessment. External validation became a critical strategic asset. Independent researchers and academic institutions began conducting comprehensive studies of the Sunrise Roasters transformation model. Initial findings suggested that the approach represented more than an isolated corporate initiative. It potentially signaled a fundamental reimagining of organizational purpose and social responsibility. The original catalyst, the two young boys in the Portland cafe, remained a powerful symbolic touchstone. Their unexpected moment of vulnerability had initiated a transformation that challenged fundamental assumptions about corporate purpose. Regulatory engagement became a critical strategic domain. Proactive dialogue was initiated with policymakers, demonstrating the potential for innovative organizational models to address complex social challenges. A comprehensive legal strategy was developed to protect the initiative's integrity. This included defensive intellectual property protection, strategic regulatory engagement, comprehensive compliance frameworks, advanced risk mitigation protocols. The resistance from traditional corporate structures revealed deeper systemic challenges. The initiative had exposed fundamental tensions between established corporate governance models and emerging approaches to organizational design. Marcus Hartley understood that this was more than a defensive strategy. It represented an opportunity to reshape fundamental conversations about the role of businesses in addressing complex social challenges. As the strategic confrontation intensified, the true potential of the transformation began to emerge. What had begun as a moment of unexpected insight was evolving into a comprehensive challenge to existing organizational paradigms. The journey had only just begun, but the potential for meaningful, systemic change seemed more promising than ever. The strategic confrontation reached a critical juncture, transforming from a defensive position to a proactive redefinition of organizational potential. Marcus Hartley recognized that the resistance from traditional corporate structures represented more than a challenge. It was an opportunity for comprehensive systemic reimagination. A pivotal moment emerged during a national corporate leadership conference. What was intended to be a defensive presentation became a transformative manifesto that would challenge fundamental assumptions about business, social responsibility, and organizational purpose. Marcus's keynote address systematically deconstructed traditional corporate performance models. Drawing from the extensive data collected through Sunrise Roaster's innovative approach, he presented a comprehensive argument that went beyond incremental improvement. Key presentation insights included redefining organizational value. Traditional metrics failed to capture holistic organizational performance. Social impact became as critical as financial performance. Employee well-being directly correlated with organizational resilience, human-centric organizational design, emotional intelligence as a core leadership competency, adaptive communication as a strategic organizational asset, complex problem-solving capabilities as a primary competitive advantage, community integration model, businesses as active social infrastructure providers, direct engagement with community challenges, transformative approach to corporate social responsibility. The data presentation was meticulously constructed. Each slide represented years of collected insights, challenging the audience's fundamental understanding of organizational performance. Technology played a crucial role in substantiating the presentation. Advanced visualization tools transformed complex datasets into compelling narrative elements. Machine learning algorithms demonstrated predictive capabilities that traditional models could not match. Unexpected validation came from multiple sectors. Representatives from academic institutions, social impact organizations, and progressive corporate entities responded with unprecedented enthusiasm. The two young boys from the original Portland Cafe observation became a powerful narrative thread. Their unexpected moment of vulnerability had catalyzed a comprehensive organizational transformation that challenged fundamental corporate paradigms. Breakthrough moments emerged throughout the presentation. Quantitative evidence of improved organizational performance, comprehensive social impact metrics, adaptive capacity indicators, employee well-being correlations, external validation intensified. Multiple research institutions initiated comprehensive studies of the Sunrise Roasters. Transformation model. Strategic partnerships began to emerge organically. Organizations across various sectors expressed interest in understanding and potentially implementing elements of the innovative approach. The technological infrastructure developed during the transformation became a critical strategic asset. Advanced analytics platforms demonstrated capabilities that went far beyond traditional business intelligence systems. Regulatory conversations shifted from defensive positioning to collaborative exploration. Policymakers began to recognize the potential for innovative organizational models to address complex social challenges. A comprehensive ecosystem of support began to crystallize. Academic research partnerships, progressive policy development, innovative organizational design, exploration, social impact measurement frameworks. The resistance from traditional corporate structures revealed deeper systemic challenges. The initiative had exposed fundamental tensions between established governance models and emerging approaches to organizational design. Marcus Hartley understood that this was more than a presentation. It represented a potential paradigm shift in understanding organizational purpose, social responsibility, and human potential. As the conference concluded, it became clear that Sunrise Roasters had transcended its identity as a coffee company. It had become a living laboratory for reimagining the relationship between businesses, communities, and social infrastructure. The original moment of unexpected insight in a Portland cafe had evolved into a comprehensive challenge to existing organizational paradigms. The journey of transformation continued, with the potential for meaningful, systemic change more promising than ever before. The global response to Sunrise Roasters' transformative model exceeded all strategic projections. What began as an internal organizational initiative was rapidly evolving into a comprehensive framework for reimagining corporate social responsibility. International interest emerged from multiple sectors. Business schools, policy think tanks, and progressive corporations initiated deep dive studies into the Sunrise Roasters' organizational transformation model. Each analysis revealed layers of complexity that challenged traditional corporate development paradigms. Marcus Hartley's leadership approach became a case study in adaptive strategic management. Academic researchers identified multiple innovative elements: dynamic organizational intelligence systems, emotionally intelligent leadership frameworks, community-integrated performance metrics, adaptive communication infrastructure. The technological backbone of the transformation became a critical area of exploration. The proprietary organizational intelligence platform developed by Sunrise Roasters represented a quantum leap in understanding complex organizational dynamics. Machine learning algorithms demonstrated unprecedented capabilities in predictive performance modeling, adaptive workforce development, real-time organizational health assessment, complex problem-solving pattern recognition. Global consulting firms began developing preliminary frameworks to adapt elements of the Sunrise Roasters model. Traditional management consulting approached the innovation with a mixture of skepticism and cautious enthusiasm. Unexpected validation emerged from diverse global contexts. Organizations in technology, healthcare, education, and social services expressed interest in understanding the underlying principles of the transformation approach. International policy conferences began featuring the Sunrise Roasters model as a potential framework for addressing complex societal challenges. The approach transcended traditional corporate social responsibility models, offering a more holistic integration of business and social purpose. Economic valuation models underwent fundamental recalibration. Traditional financial metrics proved insufficient to capture the comprehensive value creation demonstrated by the innovative organizational approach. A new economic framework emerged that incorporated social impact valuation, human capital development metrics, community resilience indicators, adaptive capacity assessment. The original catalyst, the two young boys in the Portland cafe, remained a powerful symbolic representation of the broader transformation philosophy. Their moment of vulnerability had initiated a comprehensive reimagining of organizational potential. Strategic partnerships expanded across multiple domains: academic research institutions, global policy development networks, social innovation, laboratories, progressive corporate ecosystems. Technological innovation continued to be a critical driver of the transformation. Advanced data collection and analysis systems provided unprecedented insights into organizational complexity. The resistance from traditional corporate structures revealed deeper systemic challenges. The Sunrise Roasters initiative had exposed fundamental tensions between established governance models and emerging approaches to organizational design. Global leadership development programs began incorporating elements of the innovative approach. Universities redesigned organizational management curricula to reflect the new understanding of corporate purpose and social responsibility. Marcus Hartley recognized that the journey had evolved far beyond the initial field observation. What had begun as a moment of unexpected insight had transformed into a comprehensive global conversation about the role of businesses in addressing complex societal challenges. Regulatory frameworks began to show early signs of adaptation. Progressive policymakers explored new approaches to corporate governance that incorporated the insights from the Sunrise Roasters model. The comprehensive ecosystem of support continued to expand. Cross-sector collaborative platforms, innovative organizational design networks, social impact measurement frameworks, adaptive leadership development initiatives. As the global recognition intensified, it became clear that Sunrise Roasters had transcended its identity as a coffee company. It had become a living laboratory for reimagining the relationship between organizational systems, human potential, and societal progress. The transformation journey represented more than an isolated corporate initiative. It signaled a potential paradigm shift in understanding organizational purpose, social responsibility, and human collaborative potential. The global trajectory of Sunrise Roasters' organizational model reached a pivotal moment of convergence. Multiple complex systems were simultaneously responding to the innovative approach, creating a dynamic ecosystem of organizational transformation that defied traditional predictive frameworks. International implementation strategies began to emerge across diverse organizational contexts. What had originated as a localized corporate initiative was now being adapted by entities ranging from technology startups to global healthcare systems, educational institutions to government agencies. Strategic complexity increased exponentially. The Sunrise Roasters model demonstrated an unprecedented ability to be simultaneously specific and adaptable, creating a flexible framework that could be calibrated to unique organizational environments while maintaining core transformative principles. Technological infrastructure played a critical role in this expansive implementation. Advanced machine learning algorithms developed during the initial transformation phase now provided sophisticated adaptation protocols, allowing organizations to integrate the core principles with remarkable precision. Key implementation strategies identified included adaptive integration protocols, modular organizational design frameworks, customizable performance measurement systems, flexible leadership development approaches, comprehensive transformation methodology, systemic change management processes. continuous learning infrastructure, dynamic feedback mechanism design, human-centric performance optimization, emotional intelligence development, complex problem-solving skill, cultivation, adaptive communication strategy, implementation. Marcus Hartley's leadership approach became a comprehensive case study in strategic organizational transformation. Academic research teams from multiple continents conducted in-depth analyses, revealing layers of complexity that extended far beyond traditional management theory. The original catalyst, the unexpected interaction with two vulnerable young individuals in a Portland cafe, remained a powerful symbolic representation of the broader transformation philosophy. Their momentary vulnerability had initiated a comprehensive reimagining of organizational potential that now resonated globally. Global economic modeling demonstrated unexpected value creation metrics. Traditional financial valuation approaches proved insufficient to capture the comprehensive impact of the innovative organizational model. Emerging economic frameworks incorporated social impact quantification, human potential optimization metrics, community resilience indicators, adaptive capacity assessment protocols. Strategic partnerships expanded across multiple interdisciplinary domains. Transnational research collaborations, cross-sector innovation platforms, social systems design networks, progressive organizational development ecosystems, regulatory environments began showing significant adaptive responses. Progressive policy frameworks emerged that recognized the potential for innovative organizational models to address complex societal challenges more effectively than traditional governance structures. Technological innovation continued to be a critical acceleration mechanism. Advanced data collection and analysis systems provided unprecedented insights into organizational complexity, enabling more sophisticated transformation strategies. The resistance from traditional corporate structures revealed deeper systemic challenges. The Sunrise Roasters initiative had exposed fundamental tensions between established organizational paradigms and emerging adaptive approaches. Global leadership development programs underwent comprehensive redesign. Educational institutions restructured organizational management curricula to reflect a more holistic understanding of organizational purpose, human potential, and social responsibility. Unexpected validation emerged from diverse global contexts. Organizations across technology, healthcare, education, and social services demonstrated increasing interest in understanding and implementing elements of the transformative approach. Machine learning algorithms developed during the initial transformation phase now provided sophisticated predictive capabilities. Organizational health forecasting, performance potential optimization, strategic adaptation modeling, complex interaction, pattern recognition. The comprehensive ecosystem of support continued its expansive trajectory. Interdisciplinary collaborative platforms, innovative organizational design networks, advanced social impact measurement frameworks, adaptive leadership development initiatives. As global recognition intensified, it became increasingly clear that Sunrise Roasters had transcended its original identity as a coffee company. It had become a living, evolving laboratory for reimagining the fundamental relationships between organizational systems, human potential, and societal progress. The transformation journey represented more than an isolated corporate initiative. It signaled a profound potential paradigm shift in understanding organizational purpose, social responsibility, and human collaborative potential. Marcus Hartley recognized that the journey had evolved far beyond the initial field observation. What had begun as a moment of unexpected insight had transformed into a comprehensive global conversation about reimagining organizational potential. The culmination of Sunrise Roasters' organizational transformation represented more than a corporate success story. It emerged as a comprehensive philosophical reimagining of the relationship between human potential, organizational systems, and societal progress. Marcus Hartley's journey had transformed from a tactical investigation into a broader exploration of organizational purpose. The initial moment of unexpected insight in a Portland cafe had evolved into a global conversation about reimagining institutional potential. Strategic analysis revealed multiple layers of systemic impact, organizational redesign principles, fluid hierarchical structures, emotional intelligence as core competency, adaptive communication frameworks, holistic performance, measurement human capital development, comprehensive skill ecosystem approach, continuous learning infrastructure, psychological resilience, cultivation, intrinsic motivation, optimization, societal integration models, community-embedded organizational design, social impact as performance metric, collaborative problem-solving approaches. Systemic challenge responsiveness, the technological infrastructure developed during the transformation, became a critical global asset. Advanced machine learning algorithms demonstrated unprecedented capabilities in predictive organizational behavior modeling, complex system interaction analysis, dynamic adaptation protocol development, comprehensive performance, potential assessment. Global implementation strategies revealed remarkable adaptability. Organizations across diverse sectors demonstrated ability to integrate core transformation principles while maintaining unique contextual requirements. Academic research institutions initiated comprehensive longitudinal studies exploring the broader implications of the Sunrise Roasters transformation model. Preliminary findings suggested a fundamental shift in understanding organizational potential beyond traditional management paradigms. Economic valuation frameworks underwent radical recalibration. Traditional financial metrics proved increasingly insufficient in capturing the comprehensive value creation demonstrated by adaptive, human-centric organizational approaches. Emerging economic models incorporated social impact quantification, protocols, human potential optimization metrics, community resilience indicators, adaptive capacity assessment frameworks. The original catalytic moment, the unexpected interaction with two vulnerable young individuals, remained a powerful symbolic representation of the transformative potential inherent in compassionate, adaptive organizational design. Strategic partnerships expanded across multiple interdisciplinary domains, transnational research collaborations, cross-sector innovation platforms, social systems, design networks, progressive organizational development ecosystems, regulatory environments, demonstrated increasing openness to innovative organizational models. Progressive policy frameworks emerged that recognize the potential for adaptive institutional approaches to address complex societal challenges more effectively than traditional governance structures. Machine learning algorithms developed during the transformation provided sophisticated predictive capabilities. Organizational health forecasting, performance potential optimization, strategic adaptation, modeling, complex interaction pattern recognition. The comprehensive ecosystem of support continued its expansive trajectory. Interdisciplinary collaborative platforms, innovative organizational design networks, advanced social impact measurement frameworks, adaptive leadership development initiatives. Global recognition confirmed that Sunrise Roasters had transcended its original identity as a coffee company. It had become a living laboratory for reimagining fundamental relationships between organizational systems, human potential, and societal progress. Marcus Hartley understood that the transformation journey represented more than an isolated corporate initiative. It signaled a profound philosophical shift in understanding organizational purpose, social responsibility, and human collaborative potential. The unexpected moment in a Portland cafe had initiated a comprehensive global conversation about reimagining institutional potential. What began as a tactical investigation had evolved into a transformative philosophical exploration of organizational purpose. As the global implementation continued, the potential for meaningful systemic change seemed more promising than ever before. The final phase of Sunrise Roasters' transformation transcended traditional organizational development narratives. What had begun as a singular moment of unexpected insight had evolved into a comprehensive global movement, challenging fundamental assumptions about institutional purpose and human potential. Marcus Hartley's personal journey became a critical case study in adaptive leadership. His willingness to challenge existing paradigms transformed from an isolated corporate strategy into a broader philosophical approach to organizational design. Comprehensive impact analysis revealed multi-dimensional transformation outcomes: organizational ecosystem redesign, dismantling traditional hierarchical structures, creating fluid, adaptive organizational networks, implementing dynamic communication protocols, developing holistic performance measurement systems, human capital evolution, redefining professional development frameworks, integrating emotional intelligence as core competency, creating continuous learning infrastructure, developing psychological resilience, cultivation strategies, societal integration models, embedding organizational systems within community contexts, transforming social impact into primary performance metric, developing collaborative problem-solving methodologies, creating systemic challenge responsiveness mechanisms. The technological infrastructure emerged as a critical global asset. Advanced analytical systems demonstrated unprecedented capabilities in predictive behavioral modeling, complex systems, interaction analysis, dynamic adaptation, protocol development, comprehensive potential assessment frameworks, global implementation, revealed remarkable adaptive capabilities. Diverse organizational ecosystems demonstrated capacity to integrate transformative principles while maintaining unique contextual requirements. Academic research institutions initiated comprehensive longitudinal studies exploring broader implications of the Sunrise Roasters transformation model. Preliminary findings suggested fundamental shifts in understanding organizational potential beyond traditional management paradigms. Economic valuation frameworks underwent radical recalibration. Traditional financial metrics proved increasingly insufficient in capturing comprehensive value creation demonstrated by adaptive, human-centric organizational approaches. Emerging economic models incorporated sophisticated assessment protocols, social impact quantification methodologies, human potential optimization metrics, community resilience indicators, adaptive capacity assessment frameworks. The original catalytic moment, the unexpected interaction with two vulnerable young individuals, remained a powerful symbolic representation of transformative potential inherent in compassionate, adaptive organizational design. Strategic partnerships expanded across multiple interdisciplinary domains. Transnational research collaborations, cross-sector innovation platforms, social systems design networks, progressive organizational development ecosystems, regulatory environments demonstrated increasing openness to innovative organizational models. Progressive policy frameworks emerged, recognizing potential for adaptive institutional approaches to address complex societal challenges more effectively than traditional governance structures. Machine learning algorithms developed during the transformation provided sophisticated predictive capabilities, organizational health forecasting, performance potential optimization, strategic adaptation modeling, complex interaction pattern recognition. The comprehensive ecosystem of support continued its expansive trajectory. Interdisciplinary collaborative platforms, innovative organizational design networks, advanced social impact measurement frameworks, adaptive leadership development initiatives, emerging leadership development programs, incorporated fundamental transformation, principles, holistic systems thinking, emotional intelligence cultivation, adaptive communication strategies, complex problem-solving methodologies. Marcus Hartley's personal reflection revealed a profound understanding. True organizational transformation required more than structural changes. It demanded a fundamental reimagining of human potential, institutional purpose, and societal contribution. The unexpected moment in a Portland cafe had initiated a comprehensive global conversation about reimagining institutional potential. What began as a tactical investigation had evolved into a transformative philosophical exploration of organizational purpose. As global implementation continued, the potential for meaningful systemic change seemed more promising than ever before. The Sunrise Roasters transformation model represented more than an organizational strategy. It was a living blueprint for reimagining human collaborative potential. The global response to Sunrise Roasters' transformative model entered a critical phase of systemic adaptation. What had begun as an innovative corporate approach was now being interpreted and integrated across diverse organizational ecosystems worldwide. International implementation strategies revealed complex layers of contextual interpretation. Different cultural and institutional environments demonstrated unique approaches to incorporating the core transformation principles, creating a fascinating mosaic of adaptive implementation. Key global implementation patterns emerged: technological sector integration, rapid adoption of adaptive organizational frameworks, development of human-centric performance metrics, reimagining of innovation, ecosystem design, social service sector. Transformation, community-embedded organizational structures, holistic impact measurement protocols, psychological resilience development strategies, educational institutional redesign, dynamic learning infrastructure, development, emotional intelligence, curriculum integration, adaptive problem-solving skill cultivation, advanced machine learning algorithms developed. Sophisticated cross-cultural adaptation protocols. These systems demonstrated unprecedented capabilities in cultural context translation, organizational design optimization, performance potential calibration, systemic interaction pattern recognition. Marcus Hartley's leadership approach became a global case study in transformative organizational design. Academic research teams from multiple continents conducted comprehensive analyses, revealing intricate layers of strategic innovation that extended far beyond traditional management theory. The technological infrastructure created during the initial transformation phase now served as a critical global knowledge platform. Advanced data collection and analysis systems provided nuanced insights into complex organizational adaptation mechanisms. Strategic partnerships expanded across multiple interdisciplinary domains. Transnational research networks, cross-cultural innovation platforms, systemic design collaboration ecosystems, progressive organizational development initiatives, economic evaluation frameworks underwent radical recalibration. Traditional financial metrics proved increasingly insufficient in capturing the comprehensive value creation demonstrated by adaptive, human-centric organizational approaches. Emerging economic models incorporated sophisticated assessment protocols, comprehensive social impact, quantification, human potential optimization metrics, community resilience indicators, adaptive capacity assessment frameworks, regulatory environments, demonstrated increasing sophistication in understanding innovative organizational models. Progressive policy frameworks emerged that recognized the potential for adaptive institutional approaches to address complex societal challenges more effectively than traditional governance structures. The original catalytic moment, the unexpected interaction in a Portland cafe, remained a powerful symbolic representation of the transformative potential inherent in compassionate, adaptive organizational design. Unexpected validation emerged from diverse global contexts. Organizations across multiple sectors demonstrated increasing interest in understanding and implementing elements of the transformative approach. Machine learning predictive capabilities continued to evolve. Advanced organizational health, forecasting, performance potential optimization modeling, strategic adaptation simulation, complex interaction pattern analysis. The comprehensive ecosystem of support expanded its global trajectory. Interdisciplinary collaborative platforms, innovative organizational design networks. Advanced social impact measurement frameworks, global adaptive leadership development initiatives. Marcus Hartley recognized that the transformation journey had evolved into a comprehensive global conversation about reimagining institutional potential. The unexpected moment in a Portland cafe had initiated a profound exploration of organizational purpose that transcended traditional boundaries. As global implementation continued, the potential for meaningful systemic change seemed more promising than ever before. The Sunrise Roasters transformation model represented more than an organizational strategy. It was a living blueprint for reimagining human collaborative potential on a global scale. The convergence of technological innovation, human-centric design, and adaptive organizational thinking created an unprecedented opportunity for systemic transformation. The technological infrastructure developed by Sunrise Roasters reached a critical point of evolutionary complexity. What had initially emerged as an organizational adaptation tool had transformed into a comprehensive systems intelligence platform, with unprecedented capabilities for understanding human potential and organizational dynamics. Advanced algorithmic frameworks demonstrated abilities that challenged fundamental assumptions about organizational intelligence. Machine learning systems developed during the transformation now exhibited characteristics that bordered on adaptive intelligence, capable of predictive organizational behavior modeling, complex systemic interaction analysis, dynamic adaptation protocol generation, nuanced human potential assessment, research collaborations with leading technological and academic institutions revealed multiple breakthrough dimensions. Cognitive interface development, neural network-inspired organizational communication protocols, emotional intelligence integration algorithms, adaptive learning ecosystem design, complex problem-solving, simulation capabilities, systemic intelligence frameworks, holistic organizational health measurement, psychological resilience, optimization models, interdisciplinary knowledge, integration systems, dynamic performance potential mapping. The original technological infrastructure had evolved from a simple data collection mechanism into a sophisticated platform that could analyze organizational interactions at molecular levels, predict potential systemic challenges, generate adaptive response protocols, understand complex human behavioral patterns. Global implementation strategies demonstrated remarkable sophistication. Organizations across diverse sectors showed increasing capacity to integrate transformative technological principles while maintaining unique, contextual requirements. Marcus Hartley's leadership approach became a critical case study in technological human integration. The transformation had moved beyond traditional organizational development, entering a realm that suggested fundamental reimagining of human technology, collaborative potential. Strategic partnerships expanded across multiple domains, advanced computational research networks, cross-sector innovation platforms, artificial intelligence, ethical development ecosystems, human-centric technological design initiatives, economic valuation frameworks underwent radical recalibration. Traditional metrics proved increasingly insufficient in capturing the comprehensive value creation demonstrated by adaptive, technologically integrated organizational approaches. Emerging economic models incorporated sophisticated assessment, protocols, technological impact quantification, human-machine collaborative potential metrics, systemic resilience indicators, adaptive capacity optimization frameworks. Regulatory environments demonstrated unprecedented sophistication in understanding. Technological organizational integration. Progressive policy frameworks emerged that recognized the potential for adaptive technological approaches to address complex systemic challenges. Machine learning predictive capabilities continued to evolve with remarkable complexity. Advanced organizational transformation simulations, psychological resilience, optimization modeling, strategic adaptation scenario generation, intricate interaction pattern recognition. The comprehensive technological ecosystem expanded its global trajectory. Interdisciplinary computational platforms, innovative systems, design networks, advanced human technology interface measurement frameworks, global adaptive intelligence development initiatives, philosophical implications emerged that challenged fundamental understanding of organizational potential. The technological platform developed by Sunrise Roasters suggested a profound reimagining of human collaborative capacity, blurring traditional boundaries between technological systems and human potential. Marcus Hartley recognized that the transformation had evolved into a comprehensive global exploration of human technology collaborative intelligence. The unexpected moment in a Portland cafe had initiated a journey that now suggested radical possibilities for systemic transformation. As global implementation continued, the potential for meaningful, complex change seemed more promising than ever before. The technological infrastructure represented more than an organizational tool. It was a living blueprint for reimagining human collaborative potential in a technologically integrated world. The convergence of advanced computational capabilities, human-centric design, and adaptive systemic thinking created an unprecedented opportunity for transformative understanding. Sarah Martinez stood at the edge of the Portland Harbor, watching the morning fog roll in. Her journey with Sunrise Roasters had been anything but ordinary, a winding path that began long before she understood its significance. 10 years earlier, she had been one of those struggling young people Marcus Hartley had unknowingly witnessed in that pivotal cafe moment. A community college student working multiple jobs, fighting to keep her dreams alive, she remembered the kindness of a barista who had once slipped her a free coffee and a moment of compassion during her most challenging times. That small act of kindness had been more than a simple gesture. It was a lifeline, a brief moment of human connection that had sustained her through months of struggle. Now, as a lead social impact strategist for Sunrise Roasters, she understood the profound power of those seemingly insignificant moments. Her office overlooked the same Portland streets where her journey had begun. The walls were filled with stories, Not metrics, not performance charts, but real human narratives of transformation. Each photograph represented a life touched, a moment changed, a potential realized. Sarah's work went beyond traditional corporate social responsibility. She had helped design programs that didn't just support communities, but truly integrated them into the organization's DNA. Scholarship programs for struggling students, mentorship initiatives for at-risk youth, healthcare support for part-time workers. These were more than corporate policies. They were lifelines. She remembered the conversation with Marcus Hartley that had solidified her understanding of the company's mission. "It's not about charity," he had told her. "It's about recognizing human potential before anyone else does." The morning light caught a photograph on her desk. A young man who had gone from a part-time barista to a full scholarship recipient, now completing his engineering degree. Next to it, a thank you letter from a single mother who had received healthcare support that allowed her to continue her education. These were the true metrics of success. Outside her window, the city was waking up. Sunrise Roasters cafes were preparing for the morning rush, each location not just a coffee shop, but a community hub. Employees who were trained not just in coffee preparation, but in compassionate listening, in recognizing potential, in understanding that every customer carried a story. Sarah's phone buzzed. A message from the community outreach team. Another scholarship recipient had just been accepted into medical school. Another life transformed. The transformation of Sunrise Roasters was never about a business model. It was about a fundamental belief in human dignity. About creating spaces, both physical and metaphorical, where people could be seen, heard, and supported. Her mind drifted back to that young girl she once was, struggling with textbooks and multiple jobs, hoping for just one opportunity. Now, she was creating those opportunities for others. The fog began to lift, revealing the vibrant city below. Each street, each cafe, each interaction was a potential moment of transformation. This was more than a company. This was a movement. Daniel Ruiz walked through the bustling airport terminal, his firefighter badge catching the morning light. Years had passed since that pivotal flight, where a compassionate flight attendant had helped him navigate his grief, but the memory remained as vivid as ever. His daughter, Elena, walked beside him, her medical school bag slung over her shoulder. She had grown from the nervous young woman who once accompanied her father on his first solo trip after losing her mother into a confident emergency medicine resident. "Remember that flight, Dad?" Elena asked, her eyes twinkling with a story she'd heard countless times. Daniel smiled. The story of how a simple act of kindness from a Sunrise Roasters employee had changed their entire trajectory was more than family lore. It was a testament to the power of human connection. That flight had been more than a journey. It was a turning point. The flight attendant, Olivia, he remembered, had done more than help him with customs forms. She had seen him, truly seen him, in a moment of profound vulnerability. The firefighter community had embraced Sunrise Roasters differently since then. What had started as a personal recommendation had transformed into a comprehensive support network. Specialized travel programs, healthcare partnerships, education support for first responders' families. The company had reimagined what corporate responsibility could mean. Eleanor's medical career was, in many ways, a direct result of that moment of compassion. The scholarship that had supported her education, the mentorship programs, the healthcare support, all traced back to a company that believed in seeing potential before it was fully formed. As they walked, Daniel noticed the Sunrise Roasters cafe in the airport terminal. It was more than a coffee shop. It was a community hub. Young employees moved with a sense of purpose that went beyond customer service. They were listening, supporting, connecting. A young barista approached, recognizing Daniel from the firefighter support network. "Mr. Ruiz," she said, "we've just processed the first responder scholarship applications. 3 more children of firefighters will be starting college this year. Elena squeezed her father's hand. The ripples of that single moment of kindness continued to spread. The airport bustled around them, a microcosm of human movement, of stories intersecting, of potential waiting to be recognized. Daniel saw more than travelers. He saw possibilities. His mind drifted to the broader transformation he'd witnessed. Sunrise Roasters had become more than a company. It was a movement that understood a fundamental truth. Every interaction is an opportunity to recognize human potential. The fire station, where he had spent decades of his life, had also transformed. Partnerships with Sunrise Roasters had brought mental health support, educational resources, family support programs. What had begun as a simple act of kindness had grown into a comprehensive support ecosystem. Elena's pager buzzed, a reminder of the critical work that awaited her. She represented a generation of professionals shaped by a different understanding of organizational purpose, not just about profit, but about potential. As they approached their gate, Daniel reflected on the journey. From a widowed firefighter, struggling with customs forms, to a proud father watching his daughter pursue her dreams. From a moment of vulnerability to a story of transformation. The airport continued its constant motion, a metaphor for life's ongoing journey, but something had changed. Some companies now understood that their true value wasn't measured in profits, but in the lives they touched, the potential they recognized. Sunrise Roasters had become more than a company. It was a blueprint for a different way of seeing the world, one person, one moment at a time. Alex Rodriguez sat in the small community center classroom, surrounded by students who reminded him of his younger self. At 32, he had become more than just a success story. He was living proof of the transformative power of unexpected opportunity. Growing up in Portland's most challenging neighborhood, Alex had been the kid everyone expected to fail. Single-parent home, limited resources, surrounded by systemic challenges that seemed insurmountable. But a chance encounter at a Sunrise Roasters Cafe had changed everything. It wasn't a grand gesture, just a conversation. A shift manager named Maria had noticed him studying late one night, nursing a cheap coffee and clearly struggling. Instead of moving him along, she'd started a conversation that would alter the trajectory of his entire life. "What are you working on?" she'd asked. Those simple words had been the beginning. Maria connected him with a scholarship program, mentorship resources, and a support network that saw potential where others saw only limitations. Now, he stood before a classroom of young students who carried similar backgrounds. First-generation college students, working multiple jobs, fighting against systemic barriers that seemed designed to hold them back. "Success isn't about where you start," Alex told them, his voice carrying the weight of lived experience. "It's about the moments of connection that help you see your own potential." The community center classroom was part of a broader initiative, developed by Sunrise Roasters. What had begun as a corporate social responsibility program had transformed into a comprehensive ecosystem of support. Education partnerships, mentorship programs, targeted scholarship initiatives. These weren't just corporate policies. They were lifelines. Each student represented a potential story of transformation. Maria's simple act of conversation had shown Alex that potential wasn't something predetermined, but something nurtured. His phone buzzed, a message from the Sunrise Roasters scholarship team. Another round of support packages had been approved, targeting students from communities most often overlooked by traditional educational support systems. The room was filled with stories waiting to be told. A young woman in the front row working night shifts to support her family. A young man whose programming skills showed raw talent that just needed the right guidance. Potential waiting to be recognized. Alex remembered his own journey, from a kid who was told he wouldn't amount to anything, to a software engineer who now spent his days creating technological solutions for educational access. The Sunrise Roasters Scholarship had been more than financial support. It was a declaration of belief. "Every obstacle is an opportunity," he told the class. "But sometimes you need someone to help you see it." The community center walls were lined with success stories, photographs of students who had transformed their lives, who had broken cycles of limitation. Each image was a testament to the power of seeing potential before it was fully formed. Outside, Portland buzzed with its characteristic energy. The city had become a living laboratory of social transformation, with Sunrise Roasters playing a critical role in reimagining what corporate support could look like. Maria, the shift manager who had first seen his potential, now led community partnership initiatives for the company. What had begun as a moment of individual kindness had transformed into a comprehensive approach to community support. As the class concluded, students approached Alex with questions, with hopes, with dreams waiting to be validated. Each conversation was a reminder that transformation happens in moments of genuine connection. The classroom represented more than an educational space. It was a crucible of potential, a place where systemic barriers could be challenged, where individual stories could be rewritten. Sunrise Roasters had become more than a company. It was a movement that understood a fundamental truth: potential is everywhere, waiting to be recognized, supported, unleashed. Dr. Elena Ramirez stood in the emergency room of Portland General Hospital, her white coat crisp, her eyes alert. The tattoo on her wrist, a small compass rose, was a constant reminder of her journey, of the unexpected paths that life could take. Her story began long before medical school, in a moment of vulnerability that most would have overlooked. As the daughter of a firefighter who had lost his wife, she had once been that nervous young woman struggling to find her place in the world. The Sunrise Roasters Scholarship had been more than financial support. It had been a lifeline of belief. Tonight, the emergency room was a symphony of controlled chaos. A mass casualty incident had brought in multiple patients, and Elena moved with the precision of someone who understood that every moment counted. Her mind drifted to the young resident she was mentoring, Maria Santos, a first-generation college student who reminded Elena of herself. The mentorship program, developed by Sunrise Roasters, wasn't just about financial support. It was about creating a network of support, of possibility. "Dr. Ramirez," a nurse called, "we need you in trauma too." The patient was a young man, barely out of his teens. Motorcycle accident, multiple injuries, the kind of case that would have overwhelmed a less experienced doctor. But Elena saw beyond the immediate medical challenge. She noticed the worn backpack, the work boots, the signs of someone fighting against significant odds. In another life, this could have been her. In another moment, this could have been someone who fell through the cracks. As she worked, she thought about the comprehensive healthcare support that Sunrise Roasters had developed. It wasn't just about insurance coverage. It was about creating a holistic approach to human potential, recognizing that health was more than the absence of disease. The hospital intercom crackled. Another ambulance incoming. Elena's team moved with synchronized precision, a living example of what support and opportunity could create. During a brief moment between patients, she checked her phone. A message from the Sunrise Roasters community support team. Another round of healthcare scholarships had been approved. Another group of students who would have the opportunity to pursue medical careers. Her father, Daniel, had been right. That moment of kindness on a flight years ago had been more than a simple interaction. It had been the beginning of a transformation. The emergency room walls seemed to pulse with stories of resilience. Each patient, each medical professional represented a narrative of potential, of overcoming systemic barriers. As the night wore on, Elena thought about the broader impact of the support she had received. It wasn't just about individual success. It was about creating a network of opportunity, a system that recognized potential before it was fully formed. A young resident approached her seeking guidance. Maria Santos, the mentee who represented the next generation of possibility. "Dr. Ramirez," she asked, "how do you always know what to do?" Elena smiled. "It's not about knowing everything," she said. "It's about believing in the possibility of transformation." Outside, Portland's night sky stretched endlessly. The city had become a living testament to the power of unexpected support, of seeing potential in moments others might overlook. Sunrise Rotors had become more than a company. It was a movement that understood a fundamental truth. Every interaction is an opportunity to recognize and nurture human potential. As dawn began to break, Elena completed her shift, knowing that each moment was part of a larger story of transformation. The Sunrise Roasters Leadership Conference occupied an entire conference center in downtown Portland, but it felt more like a family reunion than a corporate gathering. Representatives from every level of the organization, from baristas to executive leaders, filled the expansive hall, each carrying a story of transformation. Marcus Hartley watched from the back of the room, no longer the central figure but an observer of the movement he had initiated. His daughter, Rebecca, now served as the company's chief innovation officer, continuing a legacy that had begun with a simple moment of observation in a small cafe. The conference theme was deceptively simple, potential recognized. Speaker after speaker shared stories that defied traditional corporate narratives. A former homeless youth who had started as a part-time barista and was now leading community partnerships. A single mother who had completed her engineering degree through the company's educational support program. A firefighter's daughter who had become a leading medical researcher. Each story was a testament to something far greater than corporate success. They represented a fundamental reimagining of what an organization could be. Rebecca Hartley took the stage, her presence both familiar and distinct from her father's. Where Marcus had been the visionary architect, she was the strategic implementer, transforming theoretical potential into practical systems. "We are not a coffee company," she declared, her voice carrying across the hushed room. "We are an ecosystem of human potential." The audience erupted in applause, but it was more than a typical corporate cheer. It was a collective affirmation of a shared mission. Behind the scenes, technological systems developed by the company tracked not just performance metrics, but holistic human development indicators. Machine learning algorithms analyzed patterns of growth, identifying opportunities for support, before individuals even recognized them themselves. Sarah Martinez, who had risen from a struggling student to a lead social impact strategist, presented data that challenged every traditional organizational metric. Success was no longer about quarterly profits, but about lives transformed, potential realized, barriers dismantled. "Look at these numbers," she said, projecting complex graphs that told stories of human development. Each point represents a life changed, a potential unleashed. The conference wasn't just a celebration, it was a strategic planning session for continued transformation. Workshops explored emerging challenges, technological displacement, educational inequality, mental health support in professional environments. Daniel Ruiz, now a consultant for first responder support programs, shared insights from years of community engagement. His daughter Elena's medical research had become a critical component of the company's healthcare initiatives. Alex Rodriguez demonstrated technological solutions developed by young innovators who had been supported through Sunrise Rotors scholarship programs. Each presentation was a living example of the company's core belief: potential is everywhere, waiting to be recognized. During a break, Marcus Hartley reflected on the journey. That single moment in a Portland cafe had been more than a business decision. It had been the beginning of a movement that redefined the relationship between organizations and human potential. The conference hall buzzed with energy, not the manufactured enthusiasm of traditional corporate events, but a genuine sense of collective purpose. Young employees discussed complex social challenges with seasoned executives. Technology teams collaborated with community outreach specialists. As the day concluded, Rebecca approached her father. "We're just getting started," she said, her eyes reflecting the same mix of pragmatism and vision that had defined Marcus's leadership. Outside, Portland's evening light painted the conference center in golden hues. Inside, a new model of organizational purpose was being written, one life, one moment at a time. Sunrise Roasters had become more than a company. It was a living blueprint for human potential. The board meeting was tense, a stark contrast to the optimistic conference that had concluded just weeks earlier. A coalition of traditional investors had begun to challenge Sunrise Roasters' unconventional approach, arguing that the company's social impact focus was undermining financial performance. Victor Langley, a veteran corporate strategist brought in to provide an independent assessment, sat at the head of the table. His reputation for ruthless business analysis preceded him. Behind his carefully tailored suit and measured demeanor lay a reputation for dismantling organizations that didn't meet traditional performance metrics. "Your social impact programs are bleeding resources," Langley stated, his finger tracing a complex financial chart. "While noble, these initiatives cannot replace sound business strategy." Rebecca Hartley met his gaze without flinching. She had prepared for this moment, understanding that the company's transformation would inevitably face resistance from traditional corporate thinking. The financial presentation was meticulously crafted, but it wasn't just about numbers. Each slide told a story of human potential, of lives transformed, of systemic barriers dismantled. Data showed something profound. The company's unconventional approach was actually creating long-term value that traditional metrics failed to capture. Employee retention was at an all-time high. Customer loyalty had become a competitive advantage. The talent pipeline was filled with individuals who saw the organization as more than just a job. Marcus Hartley, now serving in an advisory capacity, watched the proceedings with a mixture of pride and strategic calculation. He recognized this moment as another critical test of the transformation they had initiated. The room was divided. Traditional investors sat on one side, their expressions a mixture of skepticism and frustration. The newer guard, those who had been part of the company's transformation, radiated a quiet confidence. Sarah Martinez presented a comprehensive impact report. It wasn't just a financial document, but a holistic assessment of the organization's broader value creation. Each metric told a story of human potential unleashed. "We're not just measuring profit," she explained. "We're measuring human capacity." The technological infrastructure developed by the company provided unprecedented insights. Machine learning algorithms had created predictive models that demonstrated how investment in human potential translated into long-term organizational resilience. Victor Langley's initial skepticism began to waver. The data was compelling, challenging every traditional assumption about organizational performance. Outside the boardroom, the broader ecosystem of Sunrise Roasters continued to thrive. Community partnerships, educational support programs, healthcare initiatives. These were not peripheral activities but core components of the organization's strategy. Alex Rodriguez, now leading the company's technological innovation team, demonstrated how their approach to talent development had created breakthrough technological solutions, innovations that traditional hiring models would have missed entirely. The board meeting became more than a financial review. It was a philosophical confrontation between two fundamentally different views of organizational purpose. "We're not just a coffee company," Rebecca Hartley stated, her voice calm but resolute. "We're an ecosystem of human potential." The room fell silent. Victor Langley leaned back, his entire approach to organizational assessment being challenged in real time. As the meeting progressed, it became clear that Sunrise Roasters had created something far more valuable than a traditional corporate model. They had developed a living, adaptive system that recognized and nurtured human potential. The challenge was not a threat. It was another opportunity for transformation. The aftermath of the board meeting reverberated far beyond Sunrise Roasters' corporate offices. What had begun as a potential challenge had transformed into a global conversation about the future of organizational design. Victor Langley, initially brought in as a potential antagonist, found himself unexpectedly fascinated. The company's approach challenged every traditional metric he had used throughout his career. During a private conversation with Rebecca Hartley, his skepticism began to crack. "You're not just talking about social responsibility," he observed. "You're creating a new model of economic value." Global media outlets picked up the story. A Forbes feature titled "Beyond Profit: How Sunrise Roasters Reimagined Organizational Purpose" became a viral sensation. Academic institutions began studying the company's approach as a potential blueprint for 21st century organizational design. The technological infrastructure developed by the company had become a critical asset. Advanced algorithms could now predict not just financial performance, but human potential trajectories. Machine learning systems identified talent opportunities that traditional hiring models would have completely overlooked. Sarah Martinez led a comprehensive global research initiative. Data collected from multiple countries revealed a profound insight. The Sunrise Roasters model was adaptable across diverse cultural and economic contexts. In São Paulo, a community center modeled after their support programs had transformed educational outcomes for marginalized youth. In Mumbai, healthcare support initiatives inspired by their approach were creating unprecedented access to medical education for first-generation college students. Daniel Ruiz, now a global consultant, traveled extensively, sharing the first responder support models developed through the company's programs. His daughter Elena's medical research had become a critical component of global healthcare innovation discussions. Alex Rodriguez's technology teams were developing adaptive learning platforms that could be implemented in educational systems worldwide. What had started as a corporate initiative was becoming a global movement of human potential recognition. The company's approach challenged fundamental assumptions about organizational purpose. It wasn't just about creating a successful business, it was about creating a living ecosystem of human development. Rebecca Hartley understood that this was more than a corporate strategy. It was a philosophical approach to human potential that transcended traditional boundaries. Global partnerships began to emerge. Educational institutions, healthcare systems, technology companies all began exploring ways to integrate the Sunrise Roasters approach into their own organizational models. A United Nations panel invited Rebecca to discuss how their model could be applied to address global challenges like educational inequality, workforce development, and community resilience. The technological platform they had developed became a critical tool for understanding human potential. Machine learning algorithms could now predict educational and professional trajectories with unprecedented accuracy, identifying opportunities for support before individuals even recognize them. Marcus Hartley, watching from the background, recognized that the movement had grown beyond anything he could have initially imagined. That moment in a Portland cafe had initiated a global conversation about human potential. International conferences began featuring Sunrise Roasters as a case study in transformative organizational design. Business schools redesigned curriculum to incorporate their approach to human potential recognition. The original catalyst, a moment of unexpected kindness in a small cafe, had transformed into a global blueprint for reimagining organizational purpose. As the year concluded, it became clear that Sunrise Roasters was no longer just a company. It had become a global movement, a living example of how organizations could serve as catalysts for human potential. The journey of transformation continued with each interaction, each moment of recognition, expanding the possibilities of what an organization could be. The global expansion of Sunrise Roasters' transformative model inevitably attracted significant resistance. Traditional corporate structures, threatened by the radical reimagining of organizational purpose, began to mount a coordinated counter-offensive. A consortium of multinational corporations formed a strategic alliance aimed at challenging the company's approach. Led by conservative business leaders who viewed the model as a dangerous deviation from established corporate practices, they sought to discredit the innovative framework. Economic think tanks released reports questioning the long-term viability of the human potential approach. Traditional financial analysts argued that the model was unsustainable, that compassion couldn't be a business strategy. Rebecca Hartley understood the challenge represented an opportunity for further validation. Instead of defensive positioning, she chose strategic transparency. A comprehensive global research initiative was launched. Independent academic institutions from multiple continents were invited to conduct comprehensive, unfiltered studies of the Sunrise Roasters model. The goal was not just defense, but definitive proof of the approach's effectiveness. Initial research findings were compelling. Comparative studies demonstrated that organizations implementing elements of the Sunrise Roasters approach showed 37% improvement in long-term employee retention, 42% increase in innovation capacity, significant improvements in community engagement metrics, more resilient organizational structures. Marcus Hartley, serving in an advisory capacity, recognized the broader philosophical battle being waged. This was more than a corporate challenge. It was a fundamental reimagining of organizational purpose. The technological infrastructure developed by the company became a critical strategic asset. Advanced machine learning algorithms could now provide unprecedented insights into organizational performance, going far beyond traditional financial metrics. Sarah Martinez led a global data collection initiative. The research encompassed organizations across diverse cultural and economic contexts, creating a comprehensive global data set that challenged traditional performance assessment models. International media began to take notice. What had started as a potential corporate controversy transformed into a global conversation about the future of organizational design. Victor Langley, initially brought in as a potential antagonist, had become an unexpected ally. His rigorous financial analysis had ultimately confirmed the model's effectiveness, providing critical credibility to the approach. The resistance revealed deeper systemic challenges in traditional corporate thinking. Organizations built on hierarchical, profit-driven models found the human-centric approach deeply threatening. Global technology platforms began exploring ways to integrate the Sunrise Roasters approach. LinkedIn developed new algorithms for talent identification based on the company's potential recognition model. Educational technology companies redesigned learning platforms to incorporate adaptive potential assessment frameworks. Daniel Ruiz's work with first responder support programs provided additional validation. The approach had demonstrated remarkable effectiveness in complex, high-stress professional environments. Elena Ramirez's medical research team published groundbreaking studies demonstrating the correlation between organizational support models and professional development outcomes. Alex Rodriguez's technology innovations continued to challenge traditional talent development approaches. Machine learning systems developed by the company could now predict professional trajectories with unprecedented accuracy. The global resistance became a catalyst for further innovation. Each challenge prompted deeper research, more sophisticated approaches to understanding human potential. Rebecca Hartley understood that transformation was never a linear process. Resistance was not a setback, but an opportunity for deeper validation. As the global conversation intensified, it became clear that Sunrise Roasters had initiated more than a corporate transformation. They had started a global movement that challenged fundamental assumptions about organizational purpose. The journey of transformation continued, with each challenge revealing new possibilities for human potential recognition. The global resistance had taken its toll on the Hartley family, particularly on Rebecca. Late one evening, in her home office overlooking Portland's skyline, she confronted the personal dimension of their organizational transformation. Photographs lined her workspace, moments capturing the journey. Her father Marcus with the original barista who had sparked the initial transformation. Sarah Martinez at her college graduation, Alex Rodriguez presenting technological innovations. Each image told a story of potential recognized, of lives changed. But the mounting pressure was real. The consortium of traditional corporations had launched a sophisticated campaign challenging the Sunrise Roasters model. Legal challenges, media investigations, strategic disinformation. No avenue remained unexplored in their attempt to discredit the company's approach. Rebecca's phone rang. Sarah Martinez, now head of Global Impact Strategies, was on the line. "They've filed a formal complaint with the Securities and Exchange Commission," Sarah said, her voice steady, "challenging our reporting metrics, questioning the validity of our social impact measurements." The challenge was calculated. Traditional financial frameworks couldn't comprehend a model that measured success through human potential rather than quarterly profits. Marcus Hartley, now semi-retired, provided strategic counsel. "Every challenge is an opportunity for deeper validation," he reminded his daughter. Words that had guided their transformative journey from the beginning. The technological infrastructure they had developed became their most powerful weapon. Machine learning algorithms could now dissect and validate their approach with unprecedented precision. Each challenge prompted further innovation, more sophisticated understanding. Rebecca reflected on the journey. That single moment in a Portland cafe, a simple act of human kindness, had initiated a movement that now threatened entrenched corporate power structures. Her team was preparing a comprehensive response, not a defensive maneuver, but a strategic offensive that would redefine organizational performance metrics. Daniel Ruiz's research on first responder support programs provided critical data. Elena Ramirez's medical research offered additional validation. Alex Rodriguez's technological innovations demonstrated the tangible outcomes of their approach. The personal cost was significant. Media scrutiny, legal challenges, constant strategic maneuvering. The transformation was far from a simple corporate initiative, but each challenge revealed something profound. The resistance demonstrated the revolutionary nature of their approach. They weren't just changing a company, they were challenging fundamental assumptions about human potential, organizational purpose, and economic value. A draft of their comprehensive response lay on her desk. It wasn't just a legal document, it was a manifesto, a detailed exploration of a new understanding of organizational potential. The phone rang again. Victor Langley, The financial strategist, who had become an unexpected ally, was calling. "They're trying to break you," he said, "but the data tells a different story." Rebecca smiled. The journey had never been about avoiding challenges. It had always been about transformation. As Portland's night settled around her, she understood that this moment was another crucible, another opportunity to demonstrate that their approach was more than a strategy. It was a living, breathing ecosystem of human potential. The resistance was not a threat, it was validation. The global landscape of organizational design stood at a critical inflection point. Sunrise Roaster's transformative model had become more than a corporate strategy. It was a living blueprint for reimagining human potential. International policy. Forums began discussing the company's approach as a potential framework for addressing complex societal challenges. From economic development strategies to educational reform, the principles developed by Sunrise Roasters offered a radical new perspective on institutional design. Sarah Martinez led a comprehensive global research initiative that collected data from organizations across multiple continents. The findings were revolutionary. Companies and institutions that had implemented even partial elements of the Sunrise Roasters approach demonstrated remarkable improvements. 43% increase in long-term employee retention, 37% improvement in innovation capacity, significant reduction in structural inequality, enhanced community engagement metrics, more adaptive organizational resilience. The technological infrastructure developed by the company had become a critical global asset. Machine learning algorithms could now predict professional development trajectories, identify potential before traditional assessment methods, create adaptive learning and support ecosystems, analyze complex human potential indicators. Rebecca Hartley understood this was more than a corporate victory. It was a fundamental reimagining of institutional purpose. Global technological platforms began integrating their approach. Educational systems redesigned curriculum frameworks. Healthcare organizations developed new models of professional support. Government agencies explored innovative approaches to workforce development. Marcus Hartley, observing from the background, recognized the profound implications. That unexpected moment in a Portland cafe had initiated a global conversation about human potential. The resistance from traditional corporate structures had ultimately become a catalyst for deeper validation. Each challenge prompted more sophisticated research, more comprehensive understanding of their transformative approach. International academic collaborations emerged. Research teams from Stanford, MIT, Oxford, and universities across multiple continents began comprehensive studies of the Sunrise Roasters model. Daniel Ruiz's work with first responder support programs provided critical validation in high-stress professional environments. Elena Ramirez's medical research demonstrated the approach's effectiveness in complex healthcare systems. Alex Rodriguez's technology innovations continued to challenge traditional talent development models. The machine learning systems could now identify potential opportunities that traditional assessment frameworks would completely overlook. A United Nations panel invited Rebecca to present their findings. The discussion transcended traditional corporate presentations, becoming a comprehensive exploration of human potential and institutional design. Victor Langley, the financial strategist who had become an unexpected ally, provided critical economic validation. His rigorous analysis demonstrated the long-term economic value of the human-centric approach. The global conversation had transformed. What had begun as a corporate initiative was now a comprehensive framework for reimagining institutional purpose. Sunrise Roasters had become more than a company. It was a living laboratory for understanding human potential, a blueprint for a more adaptive, compassionate approach to organizational design. The journey of transformation continued, with each moment revealing new possibilities for human potential recognition. As the global landscape shifted, one thing became clear. The future of organizational design would be fundamentally different because of a simple moment of unexpected kindness in a small Portland cafe. The United Nations Conference Hall in Geneva buzzed with an electricity that transcended typical international gatherings. Rebecca Hartley stood at the podium, representing not just Sunrise Roasters, but a fundamentally new approach to organizational design and human potential. Global leaders from multiple sectors watched intently. Economic ministers, technology innovators, social impact researchers, all gathered to understand the transformative model that had been reshaping institutional thinking. Her presentation was more than a corporate case study. It was a comprehensive blueprint for reimagining institutional purpose in the 21st century. "We are not discussing a business strategy," Rebecca began, her voice steady and compelling. "We are exploring a new understanding of human potential." The data visualization behind her told a complex story. Machine learning algorithms mapped intricate patterns of human development, revealing opportunities that traditional assessment frameworks would have completely missed. Sarah Martinez had spent months preparing this presentation. Each data point represented a human story, a life transformed, a potential recognized, a systemic barrier dismantled. Technological platforms developed by Sunrise Roasters demonstrated unprecedented capabilities. Advanced algorithms could now predict professional development trajectories, identify potential before traditional assessment methods, create adaptive learning ecosystems, analyze complex human potential indicators. Victor Langley, seated in the second row, provided critical economic validation. His rigorous financial analysis had become a cornerstone of their approach's credibility. The global resistance that had emerged in previous years now seemed almost quaint. Traditional corporate structures had been forced to recognize a fundamental shift in understanding organizational value. Marcus Hartley watched from the wings, reflecting on the journey. That unexpected moment in a Portland cafe had initiated a global conversation about human potential that now transcended corporate boundaries. Daniel Ruiz's research on first responder support programs provided concrete examples of the approach's effectiveness. Elena Ramirez's medical research demonstrated its transformative potential in complex professional environments. Alex Rodriguez's technological innovations continued to challenge traditional talent development models. The machine learning systems could identify potential opportunities that would have been invisible through conventional assessment. As Rebecca continued her presentation, the room's atmosphere shifted. This was more than a lecture. It was a collective reimagining of institutional purpose. "We are not measuring productivity," she stated. "We are measuring human capacity." The global implications were profound. Educational systems, healthcare organizations, technology platforms, all were exploring ways to integrate the Sunrise Roasters approach. International policy discussions had transformed. What had begun as a corporate case study was now a comprehensive framework for addressing complex societal challenges. Sunrise Roasters had become more than a company. It was a living laboratory for understanding human potential, a blueprint for a more adaptive, compassionate approach to institutional design. The technological infrastructure they had developed provided unprecedented insights. Machine learning algorithms could now map complex human potential trajectories with remarkable precision. As the presentation concluded, the applause was more than a professional courtesy. It represented a collective recognition of a fundamental shift in understanding human potential. The journey that had begun with a simple moment of unexpected kindness in a small Portland cafe had now become a global movement. The Sunrise Roasters headquarters in Portland had long since transformed from a traditional corporate office to a living ecosystem of human potential. On a crisp autumn morning, Marcus Hartley walked through the building, reflecting on a journey that had begun with a single moment of unexpected compassion. Generations of stories lined the walls, not plaques of corporate achievements, but human narratives of transformation. Photographs of individuals whose lives had been changed, whose potential had been recognized and nurtured. Rebecca Hartley was preparing for her next global initiative. The company had evolved far beyond its original mission, becoming a global platform for human potential development. What had started as a coffee company was now a comprehensive ecosystem of social innovation. Sarah Martinez, who had risen from a struggling student to a global impact strategist, was coordinating a new international program supporting educational access in underserved communities. Alex Rodriguez's technology team continued to develop adaptive learning platforms that could identify potential in ways traditional systems never could. The original catalyst, that moment in a Portland cafe where a compassionate employee had seen beyond the surface, remained a powerful symbolic touchstone. It represented something fundamental, the transformative power of genuine human connection. Marcus paused by a window overlooking the city. The landscape of organizational design had been permanently altered. Companies around the world now understood that true value wasn't measured in quarterly profits, but in human potential recognized and nurtured. Technology, compassion, and strategic vision had converged to create something unprecedented. The machine learning algorithms developed by Sunrise Roasters could now predict human potential with remarkable accuracy, identifying opportunities that traditional systems would have completely overlooked. Elena Ramirez, now a leading medical researcher, was developing support systems for healthcare professionals. Daniel Ruiz continued to expand first responder support programs that had begun as a small initiative and now influenced global professional support strategies. The global resistance that had once threatened to derail their vision now seemed like a distant memory. Traditional corporate structures had been forced to recognize a fundamental shift in understanding organizational value. As Marcus watched his daughter Rebecca prepare for another international presentation, he understood that their journey was about something far greater than a single company. It was about reimagining the relationship between human potential, organizational design, and societal progress. The stories continued to unfold. Each day brought new opportunities to recognize, support, and nurture human potential. The movement that had begun in a small Portland cafe had become a global blueprint for a more compassionate, adaptive approach to human development. Sunrise Roasters was no longer just a company. It was a living testament to the transformative power of seeing potential before anyone else does. The legacy continued, one moment of recognition at a time,